In the world of makeup, the choices are endless. One can spend their hard-earned money doing countless hauls. Still, searching high and low for the perfect product becomes a matter of trial and error. We search the internet for guidance and product reviews. But where do we turn for answers? The 3rd Annual Emily Awards on Beauty Broadcast.
Hi everybody, so glad to have you here for my 2nd Emily Awards video of 2010. This one is all about eyes. I am so excited for this because I am very passionate about the eye products that I use, and I feel like I have some really awesome favorites to share with you. Favorites from 2010, some things, maybe were new in 2010, other things I just kind of discovered at some point in the past year, and I'm just really loving them. I will have a full list of all the products I mentioned on my blog, as well as all the makeup I'm wearing. There will be a link to that below in the info bar to my daily booth page. So get that business out of the way here and we can start talking about favorites. My favorite high-end primer is Too Faced Shadow Insurance. I feel like this not only makes my eyeshadow look more bold, but it also extends the wear of it. It's very similar to Urban Decay Primer Potion, I feel. I really like them both, but I like the squeeze tube method of using this because I really feel like all the product comes out. For drugstore, I love the Palladio Herbal Eyeshadow Primer. This is another one that's very similar to those other high-end brands that I mentioned, but for a fraction of the price. So maybe you're just experimenting with eyeshadow primers and you want to try something and you really want something that'll work. This is the one I'm wearing today. I wear this very often and I'm just really pleased with the Palladio Herbal Eyeshadow Primer. You can find it at Sally Beauty Supply. Now we're talking about cream shadows. These can be used alone, or a lot of people like to use these maybe as a base for a powder shadow. And my favorite one that's high-end, and this is a 2-time favorite, it's the MAC Paint Pot. And my favorite shade, it's really the only one I have, is Rubenesque, and I've used this so much, it's lasted me a really long time. It's a very pretty kind of peachy gold color. And what I love so much about this is it's one of the few cream shadows that I feel like I can use even without a primer because it does have just really good solid staying power and it doesn't get creasy on me. From sort of a drugstore category, although this is an online brand, I'm going with Coastal Scents and these double-ended eyeshadow pencils. You probably saw a lot of these if you watched my game day tutorials from the fall. I love the color selection. I feel like they're really creamy, kind of like the NYX Jumbo Shadow Pencils, but I feel like there's even more colors to choose from. You get a copper and then a gold, or with this silver one is metallic silver, and one is glittery silver. So those are just a couple of my favorite ones, but they work nicely if you put them on, rub them out, and use them as a base for your shadow. For high-end, I just don't have a favorite small high-end palette. Usually if I get a high-end palette, I go for something larger, one of the special things, because I feel like that's a better value. I do have some smaller high-end, like quads or trios, but this year I'm trying to think of what I really used and I don't think I have an absolute favorite. However, I'm sorry to do this, but I have a 3-way tie for my drugstore favorite small palettes for this year. The first one I'm going to mention is one that I think you might predict. It's the CoverGirl Drama Eyes palette. This is like the go-to smoky eye palette. I love the rich black, the silver, the white, the burgundy is such a smart color to put in this palette because you can really warm up the look with that. I've used this so many times. It's such a convenient way to get that smoky eye without having to fumble around with a bunch of different shades. A neutral palette that I want to recommend from the drugstore is the Maybelline Stylish Smokes Quad in Natural Smokes. This is great because you can get that rich smoky eye, but the neutral colors are wonderful. I love the top couple of shades. kind of like a shimmery taupe shade, and then a shade that has maybe just a hint of coppery brown to it. It's really nice. These are very pigmented, and I'm just really, really loving those stylish smoke shades. One of the Color Icon palettes from Wet n Wild. I'm a big fan of plum eyeshadow, and so I feel like the palette called Lust is really, really great. I like that it's split down the middle in terms of you've got your matte shades on the left, your shimmery shades on the right. I feel like they are unique colors. They're not shades you see every day. And I just find this to be a very fun palette to wear. You can get a lot of different looks out of it, as with all the Color Icon palettes. So those are my favorite small palettes from the drugstore. For high end, I've got to give it up to Urban Decay for the Naked palette. This is just phenomenal. I've talked about this before. I've compared this to the Too Faced Natural Eye palette. I just find the colors in this to be so great. I love that you're getting light neutrals, medium neutrals, smoky shades, some plums. I mean, whoever selected, what shades were going to go in here, I just think they made some really smart decisions and made this very, very versatile. Another high-end palette that I'm loving so much, and this was a Christmas gift, so this was kind of one of those, just kind of flew into the Emily Awards at the last minute, but the Too Faced Enchanted Glamourland palette. I like it for reasons also other than just the shadows. I mean, the packaging is great. You get some other products like blushes, highlight, lip gloss, primer, but the shadows in this are so awesome. They are the shadows I'm wearing today, and what I like about it is I really do enjoy the neutrals in this palette. You're getting matte, light shades. You're getting a really rich dark black, but in between some really fun colors. For my drugstore favorite large palette, this is technically not a drugstore product. It's from the online brand Coastal Scents, and it is the 36 Smoky palette. Love this. Love it. Blogged about it recently, and I mean, I'm just in love with this palette. The idea here is that each of these sections of 6 shadows kind of make their own little mini palette within the larger palette. So you've got neutrals, greens, purples, smoky shades, blues, and pinks, and it's so neat to have them all in this palette. This is smaller than most of the Coastal Scents palettes, so it's very portable. I like that you get some matte, some shimmer. It's just so convenient, so user-friendly. For high-end, this is a 2-time winner, and I'm saying MAC because I have tried more and more MAC shadows over the past year. I am always pleased with how the color really shows up on these shades. It really pops on the eye. You don't have to try too hard. The textures are nice. There are some shimmery shades that are just out of this world. Some of my current favorite colors, for example, are Nylon, which actually comes off like kind of a shimmery, very light golden buttercream color. Beauty Marked is phenomenal. I mean, the shimmer on that and the color is so unique. I think people have tried to duplicate that in some other palettes that I've seen, but that's a gorgeous shade. And also Twinks. This one's so pretty to add to your neutral collection. For my drugstore favorite shadow, this is a new winner and something that I think with the Color Icon palettes has just really gone above and beyond and improved so much this year, and it's been Wet n Wild. Like I showed you, this one, like the 6 colors with the Lust. I know new ones are coming out that are even bigger and better this year. But also they've come out with some new trios, these that I just purchased. So I think that they're really stepping up their game now with color variety, and just it takes so little to get the job done on your lid. If you buy some of these Wet n Wild palettes, you're going to have them for a long time because it doesn't take much to do the job. So yeah, hopefully you've discovered those as well because those are great palettes. My high-end favorite is something that I recently discovered along with a very popular palette called the Urban Decay Naked palette. And I'm talking about the 24/7 Glide-On eye pencils. And I had heard a lot of great things about these, but just never picked one up. And then along with the Naked palette, I started trying these. And I think the staying power is just phenomenal. And I also love the color selection. During Christmas time, I got a set of a bunch of mini ones. So shades like Binge and Rockstar are gorgeous. gorgeous, and there's just so much color variety as well. So long wearing, lots of variety. I think these are, and they're so creamy too. For a drugstore pencil eyeliner, I have really been kind of bouncing all over the place this year, I feel. Revlon Colorstay pencils were one of my favorites. I still like them, but over the course of the year, I've gotten more into smudging out my liner, especially like the lower lash line is where I use pencils more, and I've been, you know, wanting to use something that allows me to smudge it out more. Colorstay is great for long wear, but it's not as easy to smudge. It's not as creamy. I have gone back to a product that really has been an initial, one of the first eyeliners that I used, and I still like it to this day, and it's the CoverGirl Perfect Point Plus in Onyx. Yeah, and it comes with a great smudge tip on the bottom. You get a very, very small applicator with this, or a very small tip, so you have a lot of control. It is smudgeable. I like to still top it off with a shadow just to ensure its staying power, but really, really good drugstore liner if you're looking for something that's a little more smudged out and smoky looking. Just haven't tried a high-end liquid liner that I'm in love with, but from the drugstore, here's where Revlon Colorstay makes its comeback. I really, really like the Revlon Colorstay liquid liners. I have tried several other drugstore liquid liners that I've enjoyed, but I like that Revlon Colorstay gives you some color options. The variety is good, and so is the staying power. I like how bold and black a black liner from Colorstay turns out to be. So yeah, that's going to be my drugstore favorite. My favorite for high-end is MAC Fluid Line. I recently discovered this with a purchase of kind of like a group little kit around the holidays, and I find this so creamy. I love the small brush that comes with it, the MAC eyeliner brush. It's kind of like a small pointed tip, and that just works very well for the application. This particular shade is Blitz and Glitz, but I assume the formula, despite the color, is kind of similar across the board, and I find that it smooths on very well and lasts a really long time, even on the lower lash line. And my drugstore favorite is from Physicians Formula, and it is the Shimmer Strips Custom Eye Enhancing Gel Cream Eyeliner. So these are very neat, very innovative where the packaging is concerned, because look, these just come right apart. So they come in sets of 3. The one I'm holding up here is for hazel eyes, and I love the amount of colors you get. This one, for example, has a brown, kind of a pinky tone, and a black that actually has a slight pink sparkle to it. So these are super creamy. They wear a long time. For high-end mascara, one that I have really enjoyed is Lancome Hypnose. I've tried Hypnose Drama, but I think I like Hypnose better. I just feel like if you apply this slowly, and I think I mentioned this in a video a long time back, but it really builds up for nice lashes. From the drugstore, and honestly, if you're gonna get a great mascara, I would even just go straight for this one, and it's the Voluminous Carbon Black. Been using this consistently for a long time. I like how it builds up the lashes very quickly without a lot of effort. The brush, it's one of those traditional brush mascaras, so it's just been great for length, great for volume, great for just deep, dark lashes. I really haven't tried hardly any high-end brow stuff. So this is just a drugstore favorite that I have, and it's from Maybelline, and it's the Defina Brow. This has, of course, the brow product on one end and kind of a little comb on the other. What I love so much about this is what we strive for with brows is if we're filling them in, we want it to look like kind of natural hair-like strokes, and this is such a fine tip on this product that you can really achieve that. So thank you again so much for taking the time to listen to me talk about all my favorite products. I'm sure you share some of the same favorites as me, but if you have other suggestions, other tips for those who are watching, feel free to share that in the comments section. And again, for a full list of everything I've talked about, head to my blog and keep your eyes out because there are more Emily Awards to come.